Jarvis friends. This is Miss Karen coming to you from my front porch. Hope your quarantine weekend has been okay, and I know school is started back or getting ready to start for many of you. Just wanted to wish you well as we prepare for that. Today's lesson is about the time that Jesus walked on water. This story might be familiar to you, but there was a time when Jesus was going through lots of trials and tribulations, and he was with Peter, and he sent Peter and some of his friends off on a boat, and Jesus decided to stay behind and go up to the mountaintop to pray. And he stayed late into the evening, like 3 a.m. And when he came down from the mountain, he noticed that Peter and his disciples were still in the boat. And so they called to him because they were nervous, they were scared. And so Jesus walked out onto the water, and he went to the boat, and Peter and the disciples thought that maybe Jesus was a ghost because they'd never seen anybody walk on water before. And so Jesus held his hand out and said, "Peter, join me." And so Peter stepped out on the water, and he could walk on the water. It was amazing. But he began to be afraid, and he was having trouble trusting. And he started to sink. And so Jesus reached his hand out, and he said, "I've got you. I've always got you." And that's what we need to understand about Jesus, is that he's got you today in the midst of the coronavirus. He's got us in the midst of school starting back and all the things that we experience in life. So I wanted to share this lesson with you today. My son Cameron's going to help a little bit with the Bible study and the reading, and we are going to try and walk on water shortly. So stay tuned. It's going to be a great Sunday morning.
Our story point for today is Jesus showed he is God by walking on the water. The big picture question for today: why did Jesus perform miracles? Jesus performed miracles to glorify God. He showed to show he is the Son of God and to care for the people. The key passage for today: many, Lord, my God, are the wonders you have done. These things you planned for us, none can compare with you. Where I speak and tell of your deeds, they will be too many to declare.
Jesus had been teaching crowds of people by the Sea of Galilee. It was getting late, so he told his disciples to get into the boat and go to the other side of the sea. Jesus sent the crowds away and went up on the mountain to pray by himself. That evening, the boat was far from the shore. The wind blew and the waves tossed the boat around. Jesus was still on the mountain, alone. Around 3 a.m, Jesus came toward his disciples walking on the sea. When the disciples saw Jesus, they were terrified. "It's a ghost!" they cried. Right away, Jesus spoke to them. "Have courage, it's me. Do not be afraid." Peter answered, "Lord, if it really is you, tell me to come to you on the water." So Jesus said, "Come." Peter got out of the boat and started walking on the water toward Jesus. But when Peter saw how strongly the wind was blowing, he was afraid. Peter began to sink. "Lord, save me," he cried. Jesus reached out his hand and grabbed Peter. Jesus said, "You have little faith. Why do you doubt?" They got into the boat and the wind stopped. Then everyone in the boat worshiped Jesus and said, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Jesus proved that he can be trusted. His miracles, teaching, death, and resurrection showed that he is who he says he is. Only Jesus can save us when we look to him in faith.
Hi there, I'm Pastor Brian, and it's time for Questions from Kids. Julia from East Orange, New Jersey asks,
How can I have a stronger faith?
Oh, Julia, that is a question we all need to keep asking ourselves. Great question. So here's the thing. We know that faith needs to be grown. It's kind of like a muscle. Some people have called it a muscle that you have to keep exercising and stretching it so it grows and becomes stronger. And so how do we do that? Well, there are a few ways that we can do that. The first one I can think of is by spending more time in the Bible. The more we read the Bible, the more we study it, the more we understand who God is, the way He works, the greater confidence we have in Him. We know how we're to live. And so reading the Bible is perhaps one of the greatest ways you can grow in your faith. Other ways are prayer, talking with God, asking Him to grow you, asking Him to help you learn and to live on faith. Another way is by worshiping, being part of a church. This is why it's so important that we're part of a family of faith and we gather regularly and worship together and study together and talk through these things, learn from one another. But all these things lead us to this one idea that I think is really important you hear. You have to stretch your faith. You have to put yourself in positions that are uncomfortable at times to grow in that faith. Think again about muscles. Think about, lifting weights. Lifting weights is not easy. You have to strain and stretch yourself and you add more weight and there are times you're like, I don't know if I can do this, but you keep pushing. And it's through that exertion that your muscles grow stronger. If you never put weights on the barbell and just lifted an empty barbell, you're not gonna really gain muscle. So it's the same thing with our faith. If we're never stretching ourselves, if we're never stepping into those uncomfortable areas of life, if we're never sitting down with that person in the cafeteria and praying that God opens a conversation to talk about your faith with him or her, then you're not gonna grow as much. It's through those uncomfortable, stretching moments that we really grow. So I wanna encourage you to do that. Share your faith with other people. Go on mission trips. Live for Christ day by day, and you will see your faith grow by leaps and bounds, I believe, when you do that. So I hope that has been helpful, and again, that's something that we all need to be doing. So question back for you, who or what are you looking to be secure? Where is your faith found?
Hey guys, it's Karen and Cameron Cobb coming to you from our backyard, and we wanted to see if we could walk on water like Jesus today. So we've got our dog Henry here in our swimming pool. We thought we'd give it a try. Cameron's gonna go first.
Didn't work.
You can't walk on water?
Oh.
Didn't work for Cameron. It might work for me. Let me see. Let's see if I can stand. Oh man, I can't do it. I can't do it. And Henry can't do it. But you know who can? Jesus. Jesus walked on water.
Thank you so much, Cameron and Karen, for such a great lesson. I love the object lesson with walking on the water. Thank you guys for sharing and for being a part of today's lesson. I know a lot of you started school last week, and some of you are going to be starting school in the next couple of weeks. I just want you to know that we're praying for you. We're praying for your teachers. We're praying for your families. And I hope you guys are off to a great start for a great school year. I also hope you enjoyed your blessing bags that were delivered yesterday. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. I'm going to go ahead and close us in prayer. Lord, just thank you for a great day. I thank you for the gift of being able to learn and read about your Son and the blessings that he's done in our lives. I pray for a great week. I pray for a great school year. I pray for health and safety for everyone. Amen. Have a great week, guys. Bye.